Good afternoon. Welcome to the fourth in a series of college readiness webinars. Thank you for joining us today and your interest in helping your students be college ready. Our webinars are co-sponsored by the University of Wisconsin System and the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. Today, our webinar addresses college readiness from an admissions perspective. This webinar will be archived with the others in a series of UW System webinars on the UW System College Readiness website. A couple of notes before we get started. Please mute your sound to avoid distraction during the webinar. Background noise causes problems for others connected to the webinar and is very problematic in an archived webinar. If at any time during this webinar you have questions, please type them into your chat box. We are joined by a moderator that will monitor your questions during the webinar. She can also assist with any technical problems you might have. Anything you want to communicate to us can be typed into the chat box. Questions related to admissions subject matter will be answered at the end of the presentation. Today we are joined by Troy Moldenhauer, Director of Admissions and Recruitment at the University of Wisconsin Parkside. We had also planned to have Brian Troyer, Director of Undergraduate Admissions at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, join us. Sadly, Brian is unable to be here today due to circumstances beyond his control. We appreciate his engagement before our webinar and have left his name and contact information on the PowerPoint in case any of you are interested in connecting with Brian. Please know that admissions staff from throughout the UW system is ready, willing, and able to answer questions and help you and your students. Without further ado, Troy Moldenhauer will present today's webinar, College Readiness from an Admissions Perspective.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Denny. I appreciate that. This afternoon, as we begin the webinar, I want to focus on one key element that all of you should be helping your students, and that is graduation from college. It's very important for students to enter the cycle and begin with the end in mind. And so in the admissions cycle, we are looking forward to recruiting not freshmen or transfer students to our institutions, but we're looking forward to recruit future graduates. We have 4 goals for today outlined on the screen in front of you. The importance of the early application, the application considerations, application timeline, and available resources to you, your students, and the families that you'll be working with. The importance of applying early. There are many items here that we'll be going over in detail, and this is not an early decision for applications. This is just the importance of making early application to the institution so that the student has considerations ahead of them in a timely manner. It's important to look at what to include in an application. UW System application requires the application that can be found at apply.wisconsin.edu, the $44 application fee or an application fee waiver, official transcripts from high school, and if a student has college-level courses, an official transcript from the college or university that the student has attended. It's important to have all of those items in for an admissions office to make a decision, and we encourage students to apply early. In the UW system, something relatively new is allowing the applications to open on August 1st. This has only been in existence for the past 2 years, and has really allowed the students to, during their summer months, to spend some time on the application, make thorough considerations of where to attend and other factors such as applicant statements, and making sure that the application is complete. September 1 of the student's senior year is when the student will be able to apply as a high school student, or the student, if they're a transfer student, will be able to apply the semester prior to them wishing to attend the transfer institution. We find it really important for students to apply early. September 1st is definitely early, and it's an opportunity for students to have the early decisions then, applying for financial aid early, scholarships early. It's a strong help for the students in applying early. When the students are completing the application, for the majority of our campuses, letters of recommendation are not required. However, they can be considered supplemental items to the application itself. If a student is completing a letter of recommendation, we recommend that the recommendation be from a teacher from a core subject matter, English, math, social studies, or science. We receive an awful lot of letters of recommendation from grandmas and grandpas and moms and dads. We receive a lot of them from employers, school counselors. Letters of recommendation can be a really good tool for us to use in the application process. Maybe a student had a tragedy. Maybe a student was in the hospital or had a death in the family. Letters of recommendation can often explain some of those items, but it is not required. UW system this year did draft a standard letter of recommendation form. So if a student wants to submit a letter of recommendation to any UW system school, those schools will definitely accept that acceptance or that recommendation form. That form can be found at the UW Help website, and I will be addressing that later with the UW Help information. Proper preparation for high school. We've talked a lot about with the admissions directors and just at the colleges and universities in general about proper preparation in high school. We're encouraging students to take a very rigorous schedule of classes. We're encouraging students to seek assistance from instructors, from school counselors, from principals, and making sure that they are college-bound and prepared with the level of planning that they need to enter the college campus. And I'll be addressing that in more detail in the next slide. Developmental courses is a trend that we see on the rise in the state of Wisconsin. Students will be taking placement examinations. Many of the campuses will be using the Wisconsin Placement Examination to determine course placement freshman year of their college career. There are 2 campuses in the UW system that do use the ACT assessment, but the majority of campuses do use the Wisconsin Placement Examination. Math the senior year. There's been an awful lot of research with math. And it's really important for students to take math their senior year. We find that many students begin algebra their 7th or 8th grade year and progress through the math series quite quickly. So we are encouraging students to continue with math all the way through their senior year. Even if a student is taking pre-calculus or calculus their junior year, it's important to find a math course to take that senior year. Maybe they can do a youth options or course options course at the local UW system school. It's important for a student to continue that. We find that students that do not continue math their senior year often will reverse down to a developmental course their freshman year. We'd like students to be able to progress through the math series on the college campus and be able to have good knowledge of math. So having that senior year math is strongly encouraged. An strong English curriculum is also important. In the state of Wisconsin, students have to have 4 core units of English for graduation. They also need the 4 core units of English for entrance into one of the UW system schools. We want students to challenge themselves with the English curriculum, however. When the students enter a college or university, we want them on the path for success of graduation. And many of the courses that they're taking require a very strong English curriculum. Whether it be literature, rhetoric, or composition, students are in need of that curriculum, and students will be writing college-level papers beginning their very first semester. So we encourage a strong English curriculum. Academic rigor is something that we are looking for in the application process. Not only will it help students prepare them for college, it's really helping them gain entrance into a college or university of their choice. Students have core requirements in the UW system to be accepted to one of our schools. However, we like it when students have above and beyond that core curriculum. Whether a student has an honors class, whether they have an AP class, or they've taken college courses at a college or university close by, that academic rigor is very important. The progression of their courses can be important as well. Has the student started strong their freshman year and then has their curriculum weakened and their grades lowered? Or did the student start a little bit lower and rise towards their senior year of having better grades? Or were they even all the way through? That's something that we'll be assessing in the application process. Again, we're wanting to recruit graduates, and we're wanting to make sure that the students are ready with a core curriculum to be very successful on our college campuses. Another impact that will be around the corner of applying early is in financial aid. There is new legislation for what's called the prior year, often referred to as PPY. Prior year, let me backtrack. So currently, if a student completes the FAFSA, which is a free application for federal student aid, currently the student may complete that beginning January 1st. Some campuses have priority deadlines, some campuses do not. But prior year will allow for a student, when they apply for financial aid, to use different tax information. Currently, you can only use the most recent income tax year. Prior year will allow a student to use 2 years prior. For example, if a student is applying for fall of 2016 for entrance into college, they will be using their 2015 federal income tax return. Prior year will allow for students to use their 2014 and 2015 income tax information, whichever they choose for the FAFSA. Application consideration. I've gone over a few of these things in the applying early section. However, I want to focus on the application statement. Many campuses within the UW system have a very pointed statement that is actually outlined on the application for admission, what the student should cover in that statement. However, there's also an additional statement that allows students to speak to their strengths, their abilities, and anything that they would like to make note of. And we think it's very important, this second statement, that the students are able to focus on some of the things that have happened to them while they're in high school, whether it be positive academics, whether it be involvement, whether it be something significant as a life-changing event that has happened to them. We want the students to have freedom to be able to tell us about those. The UW system completes what's called a comprehensive review. Gone are the days of students having an ACT score and the GPA, and that is the only criteria that is used in the application process. With a comprehensive review, we look at academics such as GPA and ACT. However, we're also looking at talents and abilities. We're looking at what the student has completed for activities. We're looking at work history, and we take a strong stance on the applicant statement and what the student has said. I often read applications and am baffled when students have only one sentence, or they are talking about something completely unrelated to college readiness or their goals about colleges and universities. And so we've outlined just 4 bullets that we'd like the students to express in those statements as maybe a benchmark. Is it the only thing that they should be talking about? Absolutely not, but these are benchmarks. So goals and aspirations. What are you interested in studying? Why are you interested in studying that? Maybe you're undecided. Here's the reason that you're undecided, because you want to keep the doors open to other possibilities down the road. Why are you interested in our college or university? What are the strengths about our university that you found so attractive? Well, again, what are you interested in studying and why? And are there life experiences that might help us understand you, or maybe explain parts of your application or your academic history? I'll give you an example. When I reviewed an application 2 semesters ago, and the student had a very good academic record. Their freshman and sophomore year, they had about a 3.5 GPA, had taken very, very rigorous courses. Junior year, the student also had taken rigorous courses, and their GPA for the 2 semesters each was below a 1.5. And I really was baffled as to why a student with such strong academic performance had gone from their freshman, sophomore year down to their junior year. And then I decided to read the student's application statement, and that's a very standard practice. We read every statement that the students submit. And the student explained in great detail that his father had passed away during his junior year and was really struggling to bring up his academics. And he said, if there's anything that I can do to prove to you that I'm back on track, please let me know. I contacted the student and said, I'd really like to see your 7th semester grades, which are the first semester of the senior year. And again, the student brought those grades right back up and the student had about a 3.5 GPA. That really lended itself to making a favorable admission decision for the student. So an application statement can be paramount in a student's application. And finally, the application statement gives the student their voice. And it's so important for us to have a student voice. Many times we hear from family members, we hear from school counselors, but if a student can engage with the college campus and tell us who they are and how they're going to be successful on our campus, it makes a stronger impact. You know, many of us have heard of the helicopter parents. We welcome hearing from parents and working with parents, but when the student steps up and is an advocate for themselves, we enjoy that tremendously. When a student is submitting their application, we also look at skill sets. Talent and ability, activities, and employment history is all one significant piece of the application. If the student is interested in majoring in art, maybe they have an amazing talent in art, and they can demonstrate that in the application process. Maybe they have been part of a significant art gallery. Maybe they're interested in music and they've been in a number of vocal ensembles or any number of opportunities vocally or instrumentally. Maybe the student's interested in business and has worked for a business company for many semesters. Anything that the student can tell us about their skill set will give us an indication of how they can be successful on our campus. Maybe the student is being recruited for a particular athletic program. Maybe the student is interested in community service and engagement, and that relates directly to one of their majors. Maybe they've done volunteer work or church work. All of those skill sets are very important to us when we review an application. And then finally, we review the transcripts. We recommend that the students submit all transcripts early on. However, high school students, they must submit their high school transcripts, but they often will not be able to complete or send us their college transcripts immediately because they are often currently enrolled in those college courses, so no grades are assessed for those. We tell the students to, once the college level courses are completed, that they must send the transcripts as soon as they're completed with the courses. There is a section on the application that lists courses in progress. For students that are in high school, they should be listing all courses that they are currently enrolled in at high school. And if they are in college level courses while they're in high school, they should list all of the courses there as well with the department and the department number, the name of the course, and the number of credits. College students that are transferring, they must send the official transcript up front, and then they also must list the courses in progress on the application itself. When we review those applications, or the transcripts, we are looking for if the student has academic rigor. We're looking if the student has met the core requirements. We're looking for transfer students if the students have met GPA requirements for the academic program that they're going into. We look at trends in GPA and just overall courses. The evaluation of the transcript is a very significant part of the application review. Application timeline. Many students call us and say, how long is it going to take to complete my application? And often students feel that as soon as the application is submitted and they've received an email from our campus that we've received their application, that their application is complete. Well, a completed application is the things that I had listed earlier. It is the application fee or application fee waiver, transcripts, in anything that the college or university has requested from the student. So a completed application is when all of those items arrive on our campus and we have found them to be original copies of the transcript, and then we will make a decision. So how long does it take to process an application? Every institution is different. So once a student's application is complete, many campuses will have a review team. There may be secondary review teams. Some campuses pride themselves on having the turnover a week or less. Some campuses it takes longer, and some campuses may have a decision date that the students need to monitor. Students need to know that they are more than welcome to call the admissions offices at any time to find out where they are in their process. But a campus will not review an application until everything is complete. Many campuses have what we term as self-service, which is an online viewing tool for students to be able to log in and see the progress of their application. They will be able to see a checklist of what items are missing. They'll also be able to see when their application is complete. Some campuses offer a decision online. Some campuses don't have any decisions online. That is completely up to each individual UW system institution. Resources is something that we find very important, and we are truly blessed to be in Wisconsin because we have outstanding services and resources available to our students' families, and all of us as educators within Wisconsin. Each year, UW System hosts 10 UW System workshops. Majority of the audience members for the UW System workshops are school counselors, but there are people all over the state of Wisconsin that attend these that are not school counselors as well, educators from all over the state of Wisconsin. These workshops are hosted in 2 weeks in September, and every UW System four-year institution is present, and the two-year institutions that are close to the workshop are present at those workshops. These workshops go over changes that have happened in the state of Wisconsin over the past 12 months. It gives school counselors an opportunity to ask questions of all of the campuses relating to their students and where their students are interested. And all the UW System schools do a short presentation on changes that have happened on their campus over the past 12 months and upcoming trends that they may see towards the future of our campuses. Individual campuses offer assistance, and I want to make sure that everybody knows how important it is to have individual assistance. Our campuses are not going to turn away a student that has questions. Whether they call us, email us, or come to our campus for individual appointments, we are more than happy to meet with the students. More recently, I have been thrilled that school counselors have been contacting me and bringing their students to meet with me because the students have been fearful of coming in person. I've been very amazed by the level of dedication that these professionals have had in making sure that their students are ready for college and successful in college. Oftentimes, as a director of admission, I wouldn't think that I would hear from students and school counselors once the student is here. And this year alone, I can't even count how many school counselors have called to give updates on their students that are at my campus and how thrilled they are to see the services that they're receiving to be successful. We're also fortunate in the state of Wisconsin to have the Wisconsin Education Fairs, commonly referred to as WEFs. Each year, more than 20 sites around the state of Wisconsin are hosting college fairs to make sure that our students are ready to go to college at a school of their choice. Often more than 100 colleges and universities and military representatives are at these WEFs and showcasing their college campuses or the military opportunities for prospective students and their families. These are a free event and allow not only traditionally aged students, but adult learners to attend and learn about the colleges and universities. At each of the WEFs, there is also a financial aid presentation for people to learn on how to finance their education in the state of Wisconsin. UW Help is also a tremendous resource. If you've not yet been to the UW Help website, here's a screenshot of the site. It is broken down into many areas. If you are a prospective student, if you're a parent or family member, or if you're a school counselor, the resources are unlimited. As you can see up top, there are avenues on helping students paying for college. There is something called major mania. If a student has absolutely no idea what they're interested in studying, that's really okay. Students have ample opportunity to explore what to study. However, major mania allows the student to type in interests that may be relevant for them, and major mania helps to draw a funnel to academic programs that may be of interest. Once that funnel is targeted, the Major Mania then tells the student specifically as to what UW system institutions offer the academic program related to their interest. There's a section on preparing for college based on many of the things that I've talked about today. Careers within Wisconsin and career opportunities throughout the country. If a student is choosing to live in the residence halls, living on campus and what that means, and how do you apply for housing? What tests will you be taking and getting ready for college? Finding your fit, and then lastly, the application, so applying online. This is a tremendous resource, and what's even better is they have a full-time staff to assist if there's any questions. Whether you can go online and ask questions or whether you dial them directly, there's always somebody there that is going to be able to answer a question about any of the 26 institutions in the UW system. Whether a student wants to go to a 2-year college or a 4-year baccalaureate institution, they're ready and waiting for those questions. I've been very impressed with them on the research that they must have to go through in order to have a solid foundation in all of the campuses. We frequently get questions from the UW Help office saying, we want to be the best resource that we can be, so please help us learn more about your campus. There's also state and campus websites that I would encourage you to look at. Many individual institutions have a plethora of information on their individual sites, and I've also been on high school sites throughout the state of Wisconsin that are absolutely tremendous. UW System also has probably one of the best publications I have ever seen in college readiness. This year, Pack Your Talents and Grow is the theme, and it's the Introduction to UW System. There's a breakdown for every UW System school on requirements for those schools, but there's helpful hints for all students going into any of the UW System institutions. There's information on WEFs. There's information on placement examinations. There's information on the Youth Options Program. There's information on applying, living on campus, testing. The resources are unlimited. The UW Help Office sends copies of this Introduction to UW System booklet to every high school in Wisconsin and every UW System institution. Wisconsin also offers College Goal Wisconsin. College Goal Wisconsin, there are more than 20 sites throughout the state of Wisconsin. There's more than 30 sites throughout the state of Wisconsin in assisting students in completing the FAFSA. The FAFSA, again, is the free application for federal student aid. And we want students to be prepared to finance their education and recognize that a UW System education is an affordable education. And so it is an educational opportunity for students to go and get assistance in completing the FAFSA. It is not institution specific. So for instance, if my institution were to host a College Goal Wisconsin, it is not promoting my institution. It is specifically there to offer professionals and helping the student complete the FAFSA no matter where they are interested in going. Many of the sites will also offer scholarships. So if a student attends, there will be a scholarship recipient of one of the attendees. And then finally, the National Association of College Admission Counseling, which is commonly referred to as NACAC, also has a wonderful website. In preparing for this webinar, I actually stumbled upon this really right at the end of preparing for this, and I felt this is a really nice national resource for students. This is one of the specific pages, and the URL is located at the bottom, and you would click on Student and Parent Resources in the top, upper left in the yellow, and the tab on the right talks about preparing for your application and your education, researching colleges and universities, applying for colleges and universities, and also how to decide on which college or university to attend. The Chronicle of Higher Education this past summer had a very interesting article about students in high school and how they are planning on researching the college or university of their choice. And the article talks specifically about students applying at a number of colleges and universities and having done no research prior to that application. They would apply based on name recognition, they would apply based on family or friends recommending them to that institution, or that the institution is in their backyard. But the students that were interviewed talked specifically about, why would I want to waste my time if I don't know if I'm going to get admitted to the institution? Well, I think it's really important for students to spend some time early on in doing that research. You know, I'd love to be able to say that the colleges and universities have the opportunity to reach out to every individual student and do the research for them. However, when you have thousands of students applying to your institution and so many resources, we want to make sure that we have things at the fingertips of students to help them make those decisions. So sites like the UW Help website and the NACAC website are excellent resources to refer students to helping them make that decision. The application, if a student applies to 4 institutions, is not the cheapest endeavor. You know, certainly the cost of applying is moderate. However, we want to make sure that the students are maximizing their budget. And so applying to schools prior to research is not something we want them to do. That's one of the reasons we do these webinars, is so that we're able to help students research early on. So, there we go. So please, as educators, we encourage you to spend some time with your students, and we know that you do, and we thank you for spending the time with your students and their family members. We're all here for you as resources. If you would like to call us, come visit with us. We're also in many of your schools. Admissions counselors and administrators have come to your schools, and we're more than welcome to spend some time with you and help you learn about our institutions and make it a seamless path for students to be successful and to graduate from the UW system institutions of their choice. Thank you.
If you have any questions at this point in time, feel free to type them into your chat box.
We do have one question from Jane Henson. She asked, does September 1st apply to Madison as well? I think that was in regards to...
Thank you, Jane, for the question. The UW system application is live September 1st for all institutions. It becomes live August 1st. However, a student can't actually submit their application until September 1st. So that is for all 26 UW system institutions. Okay. If you do have questions, you are more than welcome to type them to the moderator. One of the things that I need to mention is that the application fee that I had mentioned of $44 is for 25 of the institutions. UW-Madison's application fee is now $55. So we see there are no more questions, so we thank you very much for attending the webinar today, and enjoy the rest of your academic year.